My name is Mark Wilson and I work in collaboration with Bryndis Snijboomsdottir. We're looking at human-animal interface with a view to, in a sense, examining how strange human behavior is and, in a sense, how isolated we see ourselves in the world. We don't see ourselves as part of an ecology. We see ourselves as being insulated and elevated from other species, which is insane, really, and which is why, in many ways, we have so many of the problems that we have. But also, it also, in a sense, by looking at particular human-animal relations, it also helps us examine different facets of our cultural perspective. And so, in this work, we're examining what is, in a sense, we are in denial of when we live in a city. You know, we think that the city is ours, but actually the city is a much more complex environment involving many species. And so by looking at this, we examine, in a sense, our own fragility, our human fragility, and how we are threatened by the presence of other species. I think it's important to see that we're not just dealing with species, we're actually dealing with others generally. And so within every society, within every context, there is the concept of things which are included and things which are excluded. A kind of dominant culture and a minority culture, or many minority cultures, and things which we try to erase or eliminate or be in denial of. And I think the context here is no different. With the works behind me, in a sense, we are pointing at or hinting at this complexity, and that nothing exists in isolation. And so, in a sense, these are hybrid or networked images where nothing is determinate in isolation. Everything is contingent upon the presence and the proximity and the juxtaposition of others.
This work is kind of responding to what we believe is happening in most cities around the world. So what we have here, we've got many components in this exhibition. We work with, we sort of call it an installation, but then when it's come up, I think they have to acknowledge that maybe we have kind of 2 to 3 works in here, but they all speak to each other, and that's very important. And they're all related. And so we have, in the back here, we have the 2 monitor video works. The animals cutouts here on the table, we have to acknowledge that we had great help from the students here in the institute in terms of cutting out these animals. So we explored by taking these cutouts and actually put them on sort of disregarded materials. So it's in some sense the material is talking about what these animals are for a lot of people. Yeah.
I am Eva Koch. I'm from Denmark. I'm a visual artist and I work with sculpture and, as you can see, video art. And this particular piece is called Approach, and it's about communication. You have a voice citing the first 14 verses of Dante's Paradiso from the comedy, and then you have a group of deaf people making the exact same verses in sign language. So the viewer is standing between 2 alike quotes, but in two different languages. So it's very much this, that we hear the same thing, but perhaps understand two different things. It's very much about communication and about how we tend to understand the same thing in different ways. For me, it is about human beings, and it's about understanding each other. And that, I think, is vital wherever we are, and whatever religion we have or cultural background we have. It is so important.
So the idea is that as people move this around and change the position, there will be a time-lapse camera put up here, and it will take a picture every 5 minutes. So, and this will happen for the whole duration of the exhibition. That video is going to be shown later. It could be maybe possibly shown on the internet, so people can go back and see, oh, how do people move around the different sculptures? And the sculptures are actually they're cast from real people. So they are real people and they are based in Gothenburg. And each body part, so each thing has 15 different people. So there is one hand from one person, arm from one person, shoulder from one person, face one person, and then different ages. So for example, the age group of the face, she's maybe 27. Also, this is the first place it's being shown, but I like to show it in different places. Like maybe I take the exhibition to China, or maybe I take it to the United States, and I want to see if the people change the positions in different ways. And it's a new way of reinvestigating this idea of the body as a site for our society.
This is a piece, as you can see, in leather. It's based on, it's kind of like a blown up model of Freddy Krueger's glove from Nightmare on Elm Street. This is a kind of an interesting concept for me to work with. So I tried to connect the two things, the title for the youth with the idea of the glove as some sort of perverse, horrific, iconic symbol. I work a lot with sculpture and I work a lot with textiles. But my work is mainly about isolating elements, architectural elements or cultural elements, and somehow abstracting them, and then displaying that abstraction as an isolated element and dislocated from its original context. I'm mostly interested in isolating elements of textiles where textiles is used as a sort of idea of segregating or separating or dividing classes or different levels of society.
This piece is about the aftermath of the earthquake that happened in Haiti in January 2010. And this is kind of a representation of how I felt when I heard about it. And my mother is from Haiti, and I still have family over there. And I was all the way in Helsinki, Finland, so this is really far distance, but the impact emotionally was very strong. And this is basically portraying my feeling. So this snow angel represents the people that passed away. And I make it in front of Helsinki on the snow-covered ice, so the water becomes kind of an element that connects to Haiti. And the jumpsuit is made of the colors of the flag.